NASA may have just stumbled upon one of the most controversial discoveries ever made on the surface of Mars. A strange, sculpted-looking rock with patterns, curves, and angles that some say don't look natural at all. Is it just a geological oddity, a trick of light, or could it be the first evidence of an extinct civilization on the red planet? Today we're diving deep into NASA's newest Mars image and exploring why scientists, researchers, and even conspiracy theorists are buzzing about what it could mean. This is the mystery of the sculpted alien rock on Mars. The story begins with a routine batch of images taken by NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. These were typical high-resolution photos of the Martian landscape, part of a geological survey covering cliffs, dunes, and crater edges. Most images looked ordinary, but one single frame stood out. Sitting at the edge of a slope was an object with a shape that immediately caught the team's attention. A rock formation with a smooth curve, sharp cuts, and a structure that looked almost intentionally carved. People online compared it to a carved statue, a broken monument, or even a fossilized alien head. And once the image made its way onto social media, it took on a life of its own. At first glance, it might look like just another oddly shaped rock, but geologists quickly identified features that make it unusual. The formation appears to have symmetry, something rarely produced by natural erosion on Mars. The edges are sharper than expected for a rock exposed to millions of years of wind-blown sand. The curved surfaces don't match typical erosion patterns, especially in an area that hasn't had flowing water for billions of years. And when the photo was digitally enhanced, additional details became visible. Layered grooves, evenly spaced lines, and indentations that almost resemble tool marks. All these features together create a shape that looks less like random geology and more like something shaped intentionally. After the image went viral, NASA responded with a short statement saying the object was likely the result of natural erosion and lighting effects. But NASA didn't provide further analysis, didn't release additional angles of the object, and didn't address the symmetrical features that people found so strange. This silence only intensified curiosity. It reminded many of the famous face on Mars from the 1970s, a formation that looked like a giant humanoid face, but was later revealed to be a trick of shadows. The difference this time is that the new formation maintains its shape under multiple filters and corrections. Even when lighting is digitally flattened, the geometry of the object stays consistent. So, what could this sculpted-looking rock actually be? One explanation is that it's a rare geological formation shaped by a combination of wind erosion, temperature cracking, and ancient volcanic activity. Mars has extreme conditions that can shape rock in unusual ways, but even experienced geologists admit this particular structure is unusually geometric. Another possibility is that it's a fragment of a meteorite that shattered on impact and eroded in a strange way. Some meteorites contain metals or crystals that break into unexpected shapes. But the curved, carved-like appearance of this object doesn't match typical meteorite fragments. A more controversial theory is that the object could be fossilized remains from a once-living organism. Not necessarily a humanoid creature, but something that evolved differently from anything on Earth. So far, there is no confirmed fossil evidence on Mars, but discoveries like this spark debate about what life on Mars might have looked like millions or even billions of years ago. And then there is the most ambitious theory, that this rock could be an artifact left behind by an ancient Martian civilization. If Mars once had water, a thicker atmosphere, and the right conditions for life, then it is not impossible that intelligence could have evolved there before Earth developed complex organisms. If that happened, this rock might be a fragment of a statue, a broken architectural piece, or a monument left behind by a culture now long gone. While NASA maintains its position, online researchers have been digging deeper. Some used 3D depth mapping software and discovered that the rock may not be solid. there could be hollow spaces inside it. Others enhanced the image and found repeating grooves or patterns along the surface, something rarely created by natural forces. A few researchers even identified sections that look like connection points, almost as if the object was once attached to something larger. It's impossible to confirm any of these details without a physical scan, but they raise eyebrows nonetheless. The reason this find matters so much is simple. If this object turns out to be artificial, engineered, or even fossilized, it would completely reshape our understanding of Mars. It would suggest Mars once supported complex life or even civilizations capable of creating art, tools, or structures. It would mean that humanity might not be the first intelligent species to emerge in this solar system. And even if the object turns out to be nothing more than an unusually shaped rock, it still highlights how little we know about Martian geology and how many mysteries remain hidden beneath its dusty surface. Right now, there are no official plans for NASA to examine the formation up close, but with rising public interest, that could change. Future missions like the Mars Sample Return Project, the European Space Agency's ExoMars Rover, and even future crewed missions by SpaceX might eventually explore regions like this directly. If a rover or astronaut ever reaches this site and sends back close-up footage or takes a physical sample, we may finally learn whether this object is just an unusually shaped rock or evidence of something far more significant. Until then, the debate continues. Some say it's simply geology playing tricks on our imagination. Others believe it's the first solid clue of a lost civilization. And many simply don't know what to think yet. Mars remains a world full of unanswered questions, and this sculpted-looking rock is now one of the biggest mysteries added to the list. As we continue to explore the Red Planet, discoveries like this remind us that there is still so much to uncover, so much history buried in the dust, and so many secrets waiting to be revealed. So, what do you think? Is this formation on Mars nothing more than an oddly shaped rock? Or could it be a fossil, an artifact, or even a remnant of an ancient Martian culture? The truth might still be hidden beneath the surface, but every new discovery brings us one step closer to understanding the real story of Mars and what might have existed there long before we arrived.